entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Cori Fonville Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. Hello. This is so funny. If anybody is watching this replay, you know that we did this live. We did our Monday night like normal, but we had some tech issues. So because I really am passionate about this topic, I said, you know what, guys, no worries. I know there was a lot of tech issues. I'll re-record it. So if you're watching this, you are watching the recording, but it doesn't mean I don't want you to be engaged. So definitely put a comment, like, share, follow, do all the fun things, because we're still here to learn and grow regardless. Life is going to happen, right? Life be lifing, but it's up to us to make the most out of it. And that is what we are going to do here tonight. So you know what? Let's dive on in. So the topic that we're going to be discussing tonight is the idea of building brand identity. It's so important to have a brand identity. And I think sometimes maybe we know we should have it. We know what the end product should look like, but we don't know how to do the steps to establish a brand that really speaks to the true essence of who we are, and also in a way that we can be consistent at doing so. And so tonight I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what brand identity is, the components of brand identity, but more importantly, how to create your own and then put it out into the world consistently. Before we dive into the topic, however, I always like to start with just telling you a little bit about the business. If you're new here, if you're not familiar with what we do, the company is called IROC Marketable Business Solutions. We've been around now for probably at least 6 years. And our focus is supporting entrepreneurs just like yourselves, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, basically small business owners who want to monetize their passion while keeping their budgets in mind. I like to say doing business on a shoestring budget, because we really believe at the core of who we are here, that no matter what your circumstances, no matter your skill set, no matter your economic status, no matter your marital status, no matter anything, if you have something that can support others, if you have a passion that you're really into and you want to monetize, guess what? You should be able to do it. You should be able to live life the way that you deserve to live it. So we're here just to support you in whatever success looks like to you. Fair enough? All right. And so a little bit about myself. If you don't know me, I'm Cori Fonville Foster. I am the CEO of IROC Marketable Business Solutions. I'm also a speaker, a certified business coach, and I do all the things. Look, I do all the things. A little bit about me, my backstory. I actually got into entrepreneurship in a very, what I like to call, non-traditional way. I actually have a background in the medical field. I enjoyed being there. I was happy there. I thought I was going to spend the rest of my adult life in the medical field, but I have a rare eye condition, which caused me to have to figure another way out, right? When one door closes, another door opens. And I won't tell the whole long spiel of my story, but what I will say is when I first got into entrepreneurship, I was a product-based entrepreneur, I should say. And I was selling a lot of handmade crafts and things of that nature. And what I saw was that people had these amazing stories. People had these amazing products, but they didn't know how to make consistent sales. They would have a vendor event on a weekend, and then they wouldn't sell anything all week to the next vendor event. And so because I could see that gap in the market, IROC Marketable Business Solutions was made. And it's really just to make sure that people can get in front of, they can attract their target audience, they can engage with their target audience, and they can convert that audience into paid clients. So that's a little bit about me. If you're wondering what all we do here besides just chat, we actually have a marketing site for a business where you can get anything from websites, logos, video editing, all the way to full-blown social media management. We also, of course, have our coaching services where I teach way more than just these short Monday Night Lives. We have on-demand courses, we have group coaching, and we have one-on-one coaching as well. And then we also, if you're ready to scale up your business and ready to add people to your team, we have certified virtual assistants that are already trained and ready to go to support you in your business endeavors. So we do a lot of things here at IROC Marketable Business Solutions, but our main goal is, like I said, to be that support for you while keeping your budget in mind. So like I said, we're going to talk about brand identity today, and we're going to cover like three main focuses, right? We're going to first define what brand identity is, and we're going to talk about how to have a core message. We're going to talk a little bit about strategies to consistently show up as your brand, and then we're going to talk about how to engage with your target audience through your brand. Because I always like us to know before we get into things where we're actually trying to go, so you make sure you're in the right place. All right. So let's dive into what is brand identity, because that may or may not be a word that you are super familiar with, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. So brand identity is a combination of tangible and intangible factors that work together to create, for lack of a better word, a business personality, right? Just like you have a personality, maybe you're bubbly, maybe you're serious. Your brand has a personality as well, and so when we're talking about your brand identity and all the components of it, they all go together to create your brand's vibe, your personality, the thing that people are going to recognize and contribute to your brand when they see it out and about. So, what are some of those elements that contribute to a brand identity? Well, of course, we have our logo, we have our colors, we have other design elements as well, things like social media posts, videos, posters, flyers, and things of that nature. We also have your voice, right? Your brand's voice, your brand's vocabulary, how your brand shows up, right? In verbiage. So the copy that you put out into the world, that could be on your website, your captions, your emails, and then the vibe of your business. Is it a very serious kind of buttoned up vibe? Is it more relaxed, by the beach vibe? All of those things contribute to your brand's identity. Something that's really important that also contributes is your brand story. I shared a little snippet of my story at the beginning of this presentation. All of us have a story. Some of our stories are lighthearted. Some of our stories are very serious. Some of them have a lot of pain. Some of them saw a need and filled a gap, and that's great. We need to be ready to share our story because that is definitely a huge part of our brand's identity. And then the last part, which is just as important as the rest, is your brand's reputation or the perception people have of your brand outside of you. So, what are people saying when you're not in the room, right? That's the old saying. So, yeah, that is all a part of your brand's identity. Now, why do you think having a brand identity, like, why is that even, important? Why do we need to have one? Well, there's a few reasons. One, because having a brand identity provides a face to your business, right? A clear brand identifies, a clear brand's identity really gives the public a visual image, right? A visual representation so that they can use that, we'll say face, right? Or that logo or that brand design to connect them to you and your brand. Right? Having a brand identity also increases your credibility. A consistent long-term brand identity helps build your credibility as a business owner, as a brand amongst your industry, among the marketplace to say, not only did we, or do we do great work, but we've been here doing this. Like, we're not new to this, we're true to this. We've been doing this for some time. And that lets people know, like, you're a real deal. You're not just this, person coming in and you may or may not be able to give the results that you're telling people that you give. Of course, having a strong brand identity is going to support your message. Why are you doing this? The people I work with, I love the fact that they are all in business to help others, right? I can literally take a pen and connect what they're doing, their efforts to helping other people, no matter the demographic, right? And so even though I'm able to help that one person, I know that with the help I give them is going to help lots of other folk. And that makes me happy. And so when you think about your brand identity and you think of like, okay, it's able to support so many other people in the industry, that's a really important part of this whole idea of having this strong core. This, again, I'm going to use different words explaining, but brand identity, your core, your the visualization, like I said, that people have of your business. And I know, again, this may or may not make sense to some. I get it. But I promise you, stick with me. We'll get to the end and you'll understand how it wraps around. There's other things. So it supports your mission. It generates new customers, but it also connects you with the customers you already have. There's nothing worse than liking a brand and then they change up on you. You're like, what is this? What happened? You want that consistency. So by you being consistent in your brand identity, right? We talked about some of those components. Then your audience, your prospective, current, past clients will get the sense of like they know who you are, they know what they can come to you for, and that's going to help you with meeting your financial goals. Let's just be frank. All right, so what are some other benefits that can contribute to the fact that yes, we need to have this clear brand identity, this consistent brand identity? Well, having a brand identity that's consistent is going to allow you to be more memorable. Like picture in your head all the different brands, right? You can easily, if you mention Starbucks, immediately you get a picture of like the Starbucks logo or the baristas behind the counter or them writing your name on your cup. Like that brand's identity is very memorable and it's consistent. It doesn't matter if you get a coffee in New York or if you get a coffee in California, it's consistent. Having your brand identity will help your business as far as people trusting it, again, because it's there, it's been there, and they can count on you, and you're not changing. Um, it can support the people that you want to support. That's important. When your brand is doing well, you are able to do more work, right? Simple enough. So if your brand identity contributes to you doing well, then it contributes to the work and the people that you're trying to help. And then also, when your brand is clear on what it does and who it supports, when you go to launch a product or a service, the likelihood of you being more successful is super high because people already know what to look to you for, right? Say for instance, I was a baker and I've been baking, and then all of a sudden I launch um, a fitness catalog or a fitness, DVD. People are gonna be like, "What's this? You've been selling us cakes, pies, cookies. Like, what is this?" They're not looking for me to sell them anything fitness, and more than likely, people are not gonna come to me for fitness because they're gonna say she's a cake lady. So you have to be consistent in your brand. And the cool part is that when you are consistent and you do put out something, people who have been watching you or who may or may not have purchased from you are more likely to because they already like what you're doing. They already like your personality. They already are following you. I know for me, I'll watch somebody for a while and then I'm like, you know what? Yes, I'm going to get that product. And it's because they've been consistently doing the thing that I resonate with as a buyer. So now that you kind of understand what brand identity even is, we're going to dive into 5 steps, right? I want to make it easy. 5 steps to define your own brand identity. So if you haven't grabbed the pencil and paper, this would be the time. I think we all can agree we need to have a brand identity and we need to have a consistent brand identity that we put out into the world on a consistent basis. So there's 5 steps we're going to go over. We're going to go over setting your foundation, conducting through research. We're going to talk about crafting your brand story, visualizing your identity, and implementing a guide to help you kind of sort out and keep track of your brand identity. So let's dive into the first one. All right, so the first one is set your foundation. We always want to start foundation work, right? Before you even go through your brand identity and kind of thinking through it, because some of these things you may have already been doing, but you just haven't given it a name. I want you to first pull back out that business plan, shake it off, because if you have the business plan done, I promise these steps are going to be pretty easy. You can literally do this in less than an hour. So first, and if you don't have a business plan, I should say too, you still can do this. You just may have to think a little bit. So first, we're going to set some goals. We're going to aim to achieve something with our business. We have to have a goal before we do anything because we don't know where we're going if we don't have one. And then you're going to make sure that that goal and the identity that you're starting to set up will align with the values and the mission that you have for the business. So you have a goal. I want to help these people do this thing, right? I know the other side of that, you're saying, okay, I get the goal, and now my mission, right? My values are these. So I'm going to help these people using consistency, using my ability to support this particular need. All these things matter. So you figure out your goal, and then you have to align it to your values and the mission of the company. Again, if you have the business plan, you pull out what your mission statement is, and you pull out your goals, and you put it together. All right. Once you take care of that, because it's simple enough. We're going to move on to conducting some research. Research is important. I am not a component, like a person who says you got to learn everything the hard way. You got to learn everything from scratch. So many people have done so many things that we can model after or we can learn from. And I do suggest you do, because if not, you're just going to make all the mistakes they made and have to learn and take up your time. And it's a waste. So we're going to first assess current brand perception. What are people already saying about your brand? So that's the first thing. We need to know where we are. So you can ask people, hey, what do you think about the brand? You can even put on social media, what do you think I do for a living? What do you think my company does? Who do you think we serve? What do you think we sell? What is your perception? What is your perception of our customer service? How do you like our products? All of those questions can help you answer how your brand is currently perceived by the public, by your target audience. And then after that, you are going to make sure that you really have defined or created a customer persona or a client avatar, whichever word you like best. Most businesses, once you start, you kind of have to figure out who your target audience is. So again, if it's on your business plan, you already have this information. But if not, when you think about creating this persona, right? This client persona or this client avatar, you're going to look at a few categories. We're going to look at things like demographic information. So their age, their gender, their location, their income level, education level. What type of family do they have? Is it a single family? Is it a married couple? Is it divorcees? Who are these people? And I always say, try to get it down to just like, if you got all these people right in the atmosphere, you're going to try to get it zoomed all the way down to one person. Who is the one person, maybe two people that you're trying to sell to? You can also think about who they are professionally, right? Their occupation, what industries they're in, what are the job titles, career aspirations, any work-related challenges, especially if it applies to what you do and how you serve them. You're going to look at things like their personality, their particular values and beliefs. People are buying from people that they connect with. So knowing somebody's values and beliefs, you may think is a little bit into their privacy, but truth be told, when people can connect with you on deeper levels, they are way more likely to enjoy working with you. You're more likely to enjoy working with them, and you can do a lot more because you already align in that area. What are some of their interests, their hobbies, their lifestyle choices? What are their personal and professional goals? What are their personal and professional challenges? How do they buy, right? Do they buy online? Do they buy in person? Are they people who don't mind swiping a card for a good deal? Do they like to know all the facts? These are things you need to know about their buying habits, and then also know about their communication style. Some people have to be explained to. Some people just like the quick and dirty of it all. You need to know how they communicate. Do they communicate on the phone, like a phone call, a text, email, WhatsApp, just smoke signals? It doesn't matter, but find out how they communicate, because this is going to help you as you move forward in promoting your brand to this target audience. And then last but not least, go and look at what others are doing in your industry and see what's working. If people in your industry charge by time, charge by time. If people in your industry set up their programs as packages, set up your programs as packages. Because if it's what the majority is doing, it probably is working. That's what most people expect to see. And it's easier for your clients or prospective clients to be able to compare as they go into the buying process. All right. Next, we're going to craft your brand story. We talked about this a little bit before, but we are going to consolidate all the pieces we already talked about, such as research, goals, strategy, all the pieces of your brand identity that we've already discussed, including your demographic of your client. And then we're going to take your tone, your style, and add it to that. So you know where you've been, right? You talk about your brand story, where you came from. We know who you want to help. We know how you want to help them, right? We know your core mission. We know what their challenges are. We have all these pieces of information, and then we tie it to you. That's all it is. We're just tying your brand to your client and creating a brand story. So when I tell my story, it's not just for the sake of being like, hey, I used to be in the medical field, now I'm over here. It's to tell people, hey, I was once you, right? I once had a passion for something. I wanted to do something to support people, and this is how I did it. And guess what? Now I help people do the same thing. because I work with mostly coaches and consultants, and they usually are experts who have been through or have worked with lots of people that have been through whatever challenge their target audience is going through. And so by having a clear understanding of your brand, having a clear understanding of your audience, and have a clear understanding of where you've been, you are able to create an amazing brand story that aids your brand identity. All right, next let's talk about just the visualization stuff. Pretty simple. I like to kind of, we start simple, we get difficult, we come back out on the other side. All right, so visualization, we already talked about like your colors and things like that. You're like your logo and things of that nature, but also don't forget your fonts. The more consistent you can be over all the platforms, the better. It can be very easy for people to lose you in your brand, right? Like think about just when you open your Facebook feed and you got all these posts that are just going and going and going. You can often miss somebody and forget. But if they recognize your colors every time, say your color is purple, and when something purple comes up and it has your logo on it, or they see your face, and they recognize quickly, like even if they don't know the font, they recognize it looks like your brand, they're more likely to stop and say, oh, what is this person doing? Right? They're if you have a tagline and you're always saying it, they're like, oh, I know who that is. Right? So the more you can do to set yourself apart, to stand out, but do it consistently, the better your brand identity is going to be, especially when it comes to visuals. Because we just, in this day and age, we just get so much stimuli on all the platforms. Even when you're driving or walking, you're getting so many different brands and things being thrown at you. You want to stand out, and a way to do that is by being super consistent with all your visual materials that are going out into the world. All right, we're almost done. Number 5. Last but not least, you have all the elements to create a really great brand identity. One of the ways to help you be consistent is to create what I like to call a brand guide. And you can see that on your screen, an example, but you can also Google brand guides. But it basically just puts it all together. You have your color codes, because I always tell people, I say, what are your brand colors? They're like purple, green, blue. It's like, okay, which purple, which green, which blue? Just taking blue as an example, we got navy blue, baby blue, royal blue, all the blues, right? But if it has a number, you can look up your hex codes. There's a way to do that. In my group coaching, I kind of dive a little deeper into how to create the brand guides and things of that nature. But essentially, if you go to Google and you put in brand guide, you can see what elements are there. But you want this because whether you're doing your own branding for your company or you're outsourcing it, by having this guide, everybody stays on the same page. Your fonts match for your headers on everything you do. Your fonts match for your captions for everything you do. Your colors exactly match, right? Your voice matches. Even if you're using like Canva right now, you can actually go into the brand section and they're like, what's your brand's voice? And you can put that in there, so that it helps you when you go to create more copy. Copy just means wording. Your website should have very similar feel as well. And if you have this guide, again, you can utilize it to keep you on track, but you can also, when you're ready to hand it off, keep that consistency. You don't want people to think you've rebranded every time you get a new team member or a new intern or what have you. So the brand guide is definitely a helpful, very, very helpful tool. And last but not least, just remember to be consistent. Once you figure out all this information, you nail down your brand identity, that's great. But in order for you to utilize it in a very successful way, you have to be consistent. You can have a great brand look, but if you're posting once a week, nobody's going to remember you. If you're emailing once a month, nobody's remembering that. If you're never out here speaking, they will not recognize you. So know your brand, have a strong brand identity, but be consistently out here in the world so that people can recognize your brand, connect with you, and of course, lead to sales. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining this Monday Night Live. Remember, we have a new Monday Night Live every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a platform near you. This month is February, and we'll be going over all things branding. This year, if you're watching this in 2024, we have created our Monday Night Live so that every month we have a topic. January was focused on like goal setting, getting ready for the year. February is all about brand. So please do hang out with us as we discover more about branding this month. And remember, the last Monday in every month is a recap. So if you miss anything, definitely make sure you tune in at least to the last week, because we wrap everything up in a nice little bow to make sure we all leave the month with a clear understanding of the topic. But guys, that's all for tonight. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. And I will see you next week. In the journey of entrepreneurship, success is often about having the right guidance and tools at your fingertips. Welcome to IROC Marketable Business Solutions, your compass to business excellence. We understand that as a service-based small business owner, your path to success is unique. That's why IROC offers a wide range of coaching and consulting services tailored to your needs. Imagine gaining the knowledge you need from the comfort of your own home. Explore our quick on-demand webinars, courses, and toolkits designed to accelerate your business growth. But we go beyond that. Join our vibrant community in our group coaching programs, or experience personalized guidance with our one-on-one coaching and consulting services. At IROC, every program comes with incredible bonuses. These bonuses are designed to support you on your journey, helping you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of our bonuses include expert speaker sessions, group Q&A calls, guides, checklists, scripts, and more. Ready to supercharge your business journey? Explore our coaching and consulting services. Get the guidance and tools you need to reach your goals. Empower your business with IROC Marketable Business Solutions.